In late August, we were invited to attend a Combined Arms Live Fire exercise, or CALFEX, in Estonia. More specifically, media were invited to witness the British Army's Challenger 2 main battle tanks working alongside Estonia's CV90 infantry fighting vehicles. Today's video will cover what we saw during this event. So, the exercise, which went by the name Eagle Strike, saw NATO multinational battle group Estonia conduct Combined Arms Live Fire. This took place near Tapa Base, the home of Estonia's 1st Infantry Brigade and NATO Forward Land Forces Estonia. More specifically, we were at Keskpolügoon 100, part of the central training area, which is a roughly 40-minute drive from Tapa. The big picture was that the event involved integrated training with British, French and Estonian forces conducting live fire training. This included French AMX-10RC and British Challenger 2 main battle tanks and Estonian CV90 from the Scouts Battalion operating side by side on mobile ranges. Our side only saw British and Estonian vehicles participating. Here's the NATO battle group's commander giving us a fairly detailed introduction to the morning's events and what all the observers would be seeing from a distance.
What we're going to be doing today is actually relatively rare. We don't often get the opportunity to do collective live firing, especially integrated with our Estonian allies. We've had French vehicles firing and then providing overwatch for Estonian CV90s to move in to attack and destroy positions, with then British engineers going in and breaching a minefield with explosive charges, followed by the British Challenger 2 tanks breaking through a breach in the minefield and then attacking subsequent targets. So that's broadly what you're going to be seeing from here today. It takes a lot of planning, a lot of work and a lot of practice to actually make this function. And we are in a broad alliance, and that means we all come with very broad experiences, different safety rules, different weapon systems, and a different culture and approach to how we conduct live firing. This has been incredibly useful thus far, and the next few days will be even more so as we continue to refine the way that we all work together. And ultimately that is what this is about. It's about us learning from each other, learning good practice from each other, understanding how each of us does our business at the pointy end, at the point at which we are firing live rounds towards an enemy. And ultimately that's why we are here as partners and allies within NATO. That is why we are all here, is so that we can provide that lethality, that backstop, and we can be a part of Estonia's military defense plan.
In case you were unaware, a Combined Arms Live Fire exercise brings together all the assets of the battle group, including infantry, armor, artillery and engineers. As such, it's the highest level of training available, with effects being coordinated to achieve the battle group's objective. Again, you're watching an initial firepower demonstration followed by a simulated armoured attack with a troop of Estonian CV90s supported by British engineers and a troop of Challenger 2s. As you can see from these faraway clips, our standard filming device, an iPhone, wasn't quite up to the job of capturing all the action. We brought a proper camera, but even our telephoto lens wasn't great at capturing things in detail. Of course, to get any sort of close-up shots once the vehicles moved past a certain point would have required a lens the size of a 155mm shell. Also note that due to the distance from the firing and the time it takes for sound to travel, there's a delay from when you see the shot being fired to when the sound reaches the camera. So, while we weren't able to show many of the activities happening, you'll just have to trust us when we say that CV90s cleared up to a minefield where the engineers were brought forward to breach it, all of which was explained by the battle group commander with his introduction speech. And again, as the commander had explained, the work of the engineers opened up a route for the challengers to break through and clear the next area. Forces then consolidated on these positions and conducted a tactical withdrawal, with the two forces providing overwatch for the other while they moved. While you can only see these fairly wide shots, it still gives you an idea of how British and Estonian forces can work together with their respective assets. A channel viewer asked how the CV90s would function on the battlefield, and so this sort of answers that specific question. While the CV90s come from the Scouts Battalion and the Challenger 2s are with the NATO Multinational Battle Group, the assets would be brought together as needed to accomplish a mission and seize an objective. And addressing other questions asked, we were told that one thing that British forces admired about the Estonians was their CV90 driving abilities, which were quite impressive. We didn't see anything too wild on our media day, but you can see here just how crazy Estonian CV90 driving can get. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to speak with any Estonians about British skills that were impressive, nor did we get to ask about comparing MREs. Of course, you can watch this NATO video of a ration swap between Estonian and British service members, although rations have changed a little since the making of the video.
I don't think I can eat that cold, personally. It's nicer, at least you've got meat. In this one, my favourite one will have to be the steak and vegetables and dumplings.
It's good. Good even if it's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this.
So, in case it wasn't obvious, the CALFEX was the main show for all those in attendance. Alongside this was getting an opportunity to get up close to a Challenger 2 as well as one of the CV90s Estonia purchased from the Netherlands. We didn't get to speak to an Estonian about the CV90, but you can see what the troop carrying section is like here. As for the tank, it was Baltic Defence Review team member Christoph's first time inside a Challenger 2. As such, he was thoroughly surprised at how cramped it was. Unfortunately, he forgot to ask about the built-in kettle and toilet that the Challenger 2 is famous for. Of course, maybe it wouldn't have mattered, as we weren't allowed to do any filming inside the tank. But the Challenger 2 is also known for its uniquely rifled 120mm barrel, and so here's what that looks like. The rifled barrel in theory means more accuracy, but it also means that its ammunition is not compatible with other NATO tanks and their 120mm smoothbore cannons. The rifled barrel does mean that it's capable of firing HESH rounds, with HESH standing for High Explosive Squash Head. Such ammunition, when making contact with the target, sees plastic explosive conforming to the surface of a target before detonating, which improves the transfer of explosive energy to the target. For those who don't yet know, the UK's Challenger 2s are being upgraded to Challenger 3s, which will have an armour upgrade, a new turret and newer tech. Most notably, the cannon will be the NATO 120mm smoothbore L55A1, capable of firing NATO ammunition with enhanced ammunition natures. And so that's about it for our field trip to Estonia. While we were with the French forces last time and were much closer to the troops conducting their exercise, this media opportunity was conducted more from a distance, although it was nice to see some of the parked vehicles up close. Nonetheless, we, or Christoph specifically, had a great time getting to chat with the super friendly team members of the UK Battle Group's Public Affairs Office, who were happy to explain everything happening during the exercise. They also happily answered other questions that'll be quite useful for future videos. Bottom line, it's great to see NATO allies training together, sharpening their skills and preparing for whatever may come. It was also great to see how exactly working together with various platforms might look like. Have you ever had the opportunity to see any of these vehicles up close? Whether it's the Challenger 2, Warrior IFE or CV90 IFE? Let us know by leaving a comment. Our thanks again to the UK-led multinational battle group in Estonia for having us as guests during exercise Eagle Strike. Additionally, our special thanks to YouTube channel members and Contribee supporters who support us financially each month. In addition to YouTube AdSense revenue, it's the donations we get each month that fund these sorts of special trips out to the field. If you'd like to help fund the next trip, there are links to YouTube membership and our Contribee page in the video description. And so, to finally wrap things up, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.